I want you to take seriously the threat that is posed by the variety of different groups that call themselves militias or the KKK or the Boogaloo Boys, or there's a lot of these different groups out there. Some of them have been very active recently, including on the 6th when they attacked the Capitol. Some are planning for violence in the near future. Capitol Police Chief is saying that there's an expected attack, or at least threats of attack, for when Biden does his upcoming address to Congress. But then they also have plans outside of DC as well. So we're gonna talk about one individual, the former leader of the Base, a domestic terror group. This is Justin Watkins, who apparently claimed he was going to be purchasing and occupying land in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. So this is to set up some sort of white ethno, like fascist state in Michigan, but eventually franchised out to other parts of the country as well. So this organization, if you're not familiar with it, venerated Timothy McVeigh, so that's awesome. Considered one of the most violent American domestic terror groups in decades, and was recently designated a terrorist organization by the Canadian government. Since late 2019, 9 members of the Base have been arrested in the US for alleged crimes as wide-ranging as an assassination plot, ghost gun making, plans for train derailments, and a mass shooting. And bear in mind, this is happening in the same state where another domestic terror group planned to kidnap and possibly execute the governor of that state. So Watkins, who was communicating on these online apps, and eventually that was revealed to law enforcement, said, "We're buying houses and land and fortifying them. Land is cheap. I'm setting up a community up there, going to have houses set up to get guys moved in and situated." He said that the Upper Peninsula was practically a white ethno state already, given its demographic makeup, while allowing that there was a Native American reservation near his planned community. And so we have some more comments, which are just awesome, out of this individual. But Brett, what are your thoughts about this planned state within a state?
Sounds awesome. I'd love to go visit these Nazis. I mean, like, it's so patently, there's a lot of ridiculous stuff happening. It's like, why don't you just go live there anyway? Like, does it have to be like a white ethno state? If they can operate off the grid, fine. I love the idea of saying, like, it is essentially a white ethno state anyway. I've never been to the Upper Peninsula, but sure. And then it's kind of mentioned, there are some Native Americans who were displaced by the white ethno state. But come on. Here's what's weird is if any other, the obvious thing to say that is the most ridiculous thing is if any other group besides a bunch of white people did this, they would lose their freaking minds. They would say there are a bunch of Arabs who are buying up land in Michigan and they are arming it, fortifying it. We need to get in there and liberate America from these people. But no, they're just a bunch of white dudes, so it's fine. And it's the same dynamic that has a lot of folks saying that it wasn't a terrorist uprising that went to the DC Capitol on January 6th. Even though every definition of terrorism applies to that activity.
Well, look, so that's like you said the hypothetical, like what if another group did this? But remember, I don't remember exactly when it was or exactly which state it was, but there was this conspiracy theory on the right within the last few years that Al-Qaeda and other Muslim terror groups were operating training camps in the United States, and they lost their minds. They were trying to break into property to unveil the terrorist training camps. But this would be totally fine. You can totally do this. So let me give you some more details about this individual. He said, the faster we can get the guys, the faster we can snowball property grabs, get 4+ guys in a house, splitting property tax and food, and saving up for each of them to buy the next bit of land and move in 4 more to help, like some sort of KKK pyramid scheme. I'll be looking for solid guys. I already got a guy up there. We're already training every single day. And don't you wish you could see some quick video footage of what their training each day would be like? Like what are they doing, pull-ups on a tree branch or something? What sort of pathetic training are they doing? But anyway, this is something that they wanted to do. I agree, just go there anyway. You already acknowledged that it's basically just white people. Like SNL, I don't remember exactly what it was, but they did a thing where this guy went to one of these like militia groups that was talking about setting up a commune or whatever, or like a compound. And he was like, don't just move to Vermont. And he described it, and eventually they just went to Vermont because it's basically what they're talking about already. But anyway, the reason why this matters is this one individual, Justin Watkins, he's trying to set up this white ethno state from which they would launch attacks and things like that. But bear in mind, he came on the radar of local media back in June 2020 when he was spotted counter-protesting in a local Black Lives Matter rally while carrying a rifle and wearing a skull mask along with others. So look, we've seen these sorts of counter-protesters at any number of different protests, generally Black Lives Matter protests. Some of them are just Trump goons, but some of them are part of the KKK or neo-Nazi groups and want to set up their own white ethno-state and are desperate for people to start shooting the sorts of people who might be at like a Black Lives Matter rally. So this is still very much serious. I understand maybe you came to this channel after watching Tucker Carlson and he convinced you that white supremacy doesn't actually exist, and even if it exists, it's awesome, it's not a problem. But it's kind of a problem when you have terrorists like this openly operating.
I looked up the like Upper Peninsula. Yes, there is a few Native American aspects to it. About 16% of the peninsula is called the Hiawatha National Forest. And that's the thing is I mean, this story, that is how far gone it is. Like, yeah. It's just they are saying I'm going to attack, and you see a kid with a cell phone, and just because he's black, you're like, he's gonna shoot me. It was a cell phone, no, it wasn't. But these guys are literally saying, I am setting up an ethno-state from which to have a base where I attack things. Exactly. But you're infringing upon my constitutional rights if you say that's a bad thing.
By the way, thank you to Dave Piga in the super chat for reminding me. I knew this, but had forgotten. So this organization is the base. Al Qaeda literally means the base.
Nailed it.
But don't make any comparisons.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.